243.
All right, and I think with this, we are back here at the Triple Bingo Tournament quarterfinals between LilAggy and Dray33. And I'm still joined by Dangers on co-commentary.
Hello.
Good day, good evening, wherever you are, good morning, maybe even. This one will be another exciting match, and I think both runners are with us right now. Dray probably actually just joining as I say that, Aggie already being in the call. But let me start with Aggie. He might be a little bit more prepared for this question because he was already in here. But yeah, Aggie, how has bingo practice been going? How do you feel about today's match?
I'm a little nervous for this one. I didn't get to practice as much bingo as I was planning to today. It's been kind of a hectic day, but hopefully we can pull it together. I'm mostly worried about having the brain power to get a good route put together. I think if I can figure something out, I can execute it just fine.
I can see that definitely being one of the more brain power demanding things in bingo. Obviously, there's this, what I like to call micro routing, the decisions that you actually make inside of these different kingdoms once you're committed to a route, how you route these pieces together. But initially, obviously, the first 6 to like 7 minutes, maybe 5 for some, maybe 10 for some, probably the most intense ones as far as like using your brain goes and coming up with a full route. But yeah, anything specifically that you definitely would like to get or would like to avoid as far as goals go? I know a lot of people prefer having like a clear wooded goal on the board. Some people hate this specific one goal that they really don't want to see. Is there anything like that for you?
I'm not a huge fan of key goals because usually that requires, for the fastest possibility, to do the twist and turn up treasure key in Lost, and that is a strat that I'm not very good at. And then I'm also not a huge fan of music notes, just in general. So I can see I'd like to not do those. Other than that, though, I think I'm fairly comfortable.
Yeah, personally really hating the GSA sub area in general, which is one that actually has music notes, and then there's obviously some other pretty tedious music notes in the game, so I can definitely understand not really liking these.
Yeah,
can relate. But yeah, Dray, I think you just joined us as well. You took, I think, your first match versus Samurai Man, and I think you actually won that quite decisively. And yeah, next up is going to be Aggie for you. How do you feel about this matchup? How do you feel about bingo lately in general?
The matchup? I think it should be a good race. Me and Aggie have done some rounds together in the past, and they've generally been pretty close. So I expect it to be close again.
That sounds promising.
Feeling pretty good today, I guess. I think I'm moving okay. So as long as I don't get any goals that I don't like, I should be okay, I'm thinking.
Sounds awesome. And yeah, speaking of that, is there any goals that you really don't like? Also for you?
I don't like 28 captures. If it's like for an early finish, because I always forget captures. Also don't like shards, just because they're usually pretty slow.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, actually Aggie last time choosing one of these capture goals and then having to go to snow at the very end just to get this last capture, and if I remember correctly. Yeah, pretty exciting race though, but yeah.
There was a 20 captures goal, which is usually pretty easy, and it was actually too easy. I didn't think about it at all. And
yeah, I think that's the problem, because you think it's so free that you don't have to go out of your way to do it, and then you realize you actually needed that one additional capture.
Yep.
But yeah, should be a pretty exciting one. I'm ready to go. I hope you are as well. And then we can basically start this off as soon as you are ready. So best of luck and have fun. Don't forget to have fun. It's pretty important to have fun.
Yeah, we'll try.
Alright, cool. Thanks.
All right, Dangerous. Would you agree? Is bingo about fun as well, or is bingo only about winning?
Well, bingo can certainly be stressful if you are unfamiliar territory, but of course, the goal of the game is to have fun at the end. That being said, there is potential for prize on the line, so these guys probably looking to put their very best foot forward to ensure that they make it to the next round. So hopefully a little bit of both, but we will see.
Yeah, I think obviously in this competitive format here at GSA, obviously in the end of the day, winning does really matter. You wanna get the win. You wanna go into the next round. You wanna get your name out there. But I feel like all you can really do if things don't go your way, just try to have a little fun. That's probably the only thing you can do.
Absolutely. And I definitely do enjoy this kind of tournament format. It does kind of, like I've mentioned in the past, the Super Mario Odyssey specifically is such a huge community. I feel like there's different pockets of it focused on different things. You know, you have your any percent runners, and you have your longer category runners, and you have your bingo players, and you have your trick jumpers. And you know, when you have a tournament like this, it kind of brings them all together and kind of pits them against each other in ways that maybe, you know, you wouldn't have been able to organize otherwise. So this is, of course, a very exciting way to make this happen, bring it all together.
Yeah, speaking of which, a trick jump tournament when? No, but I definitely agree with you. There's just a ton of different, like, I would almost say like professions that you can do. It's obviously not for most people anyways, professional, but there's so much that you can do in this game to kind of like, I wouldn't even say like get your name out there, but like in some shape or form contribute to the community. Like there's a huge discoveries channel in the Discord, which these guys basically find like a new big glitch like every day. There's obviously these different categories, which has its own routers and players on their own. And even then there's like way more, as you said, trick jumpers, like people building randomizers for like bigger categories is actually insane.
Yeah, you get into things like Koopa free running as well, just like the mini games involved in this game. Like there's just so many different facets that you can kind of contribute to. And, you know, with it being such a big community, you never know like what your contribution could do for the entire community as well. So it is very interesting to see kind of all of these elements come together in a tournament like this. So
and I'm actually not completely sure if Dray ended up starting, because I did see Cappy moving on his screen. So I hope he actually did start. We do have the runner stream, will be back as soon as possible up right now. So let's see what is actually happening to him. We might actually need a restart or something. If it happens early, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I guess we can just assume for now that this is going to be our board, which has a 3 moons from Shiny Rocks center goal, which actually requires runners to go back to Cascade Kingdom.
Indeed, looking like a little bit of a revisit idea there, but we also in the bottom right hand corner have a FortiGate regional coins in Seaside, which eliminates a lot of center square combinations, unfortunately. So maybe that is not the best idea, but we'll have to kind of have a look at the rest of the things on this board. I am seeing a lot of Seaside goals here.
Well, we did just have Dray's screen back up for a second, and he was in fact still on the start screen. So I hope he's all right. But we might actually have a little reset. I'm not completely sure yet if he's actually going at this moment here. But yeah, there's also quite a few regional like synergies and regional goals. There's a very big one, obviously, being the 225, which is a lot. Yep. But if you look at the rest of the board, we have 15, 25, 30, 30, 40. 20, and like a lot of these like smaller regional goals.
True. If you maybe a possibility here is to go to Seaside on purpose with the sole intent of just collecting regional coins, because there are a couple of very quick goals along the way. We do have that 3 moons from Shiny Rocks on the board. We also have 3 moons in the Deep Woods, which kind of synergizes well together. You know, it's a very regional heavy board by the looks of it, so that might be something that these guys are eyeing, is that 225 total regionals.
Yeah, and it looks like Dray might have had some starting issues there initially, because he definitely started quite a bit later. We are still currently speaking about potentially restarting this match or just going, because it would obviously technically be possible for him. However, yeah, I still kind of want to... We'll see about that one, but for now we'll just assume this board will be the actual board we're playing on.
Yes, for the time being. We are just kind of going over with our current producer to see if we should maybe start over.
But yeah, as we figure this out, we can obviously discuss a little bit about the current board we are seeing on our screen. And we just brought up the regional synergies. We just brought up obviously the revisit like centric center goal. If we think about, like, obviously you can get the war painting moon and cascade with the revisit, but if there was like a hint art goal, that would be something that immediately synergizes with this revisit cascade idea. I'm trying to find anything else that would like kind of work out. I guess you can get the treasure chest later on if you revisit Cascade and get the rock then. That would be like a super minor synergy. There's some sub-room goals. There's actually a 14 and a 4 moon goal. But even still, like, just 3 shiny moons rocks in general also means going to the Deep Woods, by the way. And there is a 3 moons from Deep Woods goal, which is kind of like... it's not in the same row like any of the 3 moons from shiny rocks, but you would maybe do that.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of like very kind of jarring choices here. There's a lot of things on this board that like there's some synergizing, but then there's one thing along the row that just kind of throws it all out of proportion. Like, for example, column 4 looks okay, but then you see 18 moons and lost, and it doesn't really mix with anything. Or even like row 2 looks okay, but then there's 6 multi-moons. You know, there's just like I'm trying to find some synergy among this board, but a lot of it looks to be very kind of scattered, in my opinion.
Yeah. What I like initially kind of thought at first is column 3 and row 2 kind of work together, like kind of at least, because you have the sub-room like kind of synergy, and you have the shiny rock and 3 moons from Deep Woods quote-unquote synergy, but I haven't looked at the entire board yet, but it was like the first minor thing that I realized, like column 3 and row 2.
Right, I'm kind of noticing that myself. Maybe something along the lines of column 1 and row 5 for the same reason, that sub-area goal mixing together well. You're also getting some regional coins, maybe throwing in row 1 into the mix as well, so that you can throw in the 225 total regionals to kind of synergize with all of the regionals you're already collecting. There's also 9 moons from nuts and 10 moons from nuts, which I think goes together rather well. Some more regional coins, and then you would just have to maybe go out of your way for some treasure chest moons.
However, you would go to Seaside at this point, but getting 8 moons from sub-areas in Metro already means you go that far.
Exactly.
And I'm not seeing any like really powerful early finishes as of right now. Still kind of skimming over the goals, but it seems like you either end up in Metro or at least in Metro, or potentially even like further into the run.
Yes, and it is appearing that way anyways. Definitely not very many viable early finish options here, as far as I can tell, especially with goals like 6 multi-moons on the board, which essentially, if you're going to anywhere earlier than Metro, means you need to be achieving world peace and everything. So not an entirely viable method unless you plan on going further than Metro.
Yeah. So skimming over the board here, trying to find potentially anything that we could end up doing. I'm thinking right now 6 multi-moons is something you can technically obviously get up until Wooded even, but that would require you to do World Peace and Sand and Wooded, which is very slow, and there's no actual goal for these, so something that you maybe want to avoid.
Yes, that's right. And going out of your way for Harriet in Sand and Spewart in Wooded is not a terrible idea. Those are pretty quick, but yeah 6 multi-moons is quite a lot, and the only ones that are basically free, I suppose, are the Madame Brutal and Rango in Lake and the Mecha Wiggler in Metro. So yeah, you definitely have to go out of your way for the other 3.
Yeah, 3 though, if you do get Harriet and Spewart, that means basically only 1. So you could maybe do... I don't see Sand World Peace being worth out this spot like entirely. There's just not too many. There's like no synergies with that. Wooded might work because it's decently fast, but still, even still, there's no big Wooded moon goal. I think this actually might end in Seaside. This one.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like it has to, in my opinion. Yeah, and whether you go for that multi-moon goal or not, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time in another kingdom otherwise. But Yeah, looking over this again, it looks like you might be spending the most time in Metro if you do something like column 1, row 1, row 5, kind of avoiding the middle areas of the board that do kind of require a lot of story elements in exchange for doing a lot of regional coin things. So you've got 15 in Lake, you've got 25 and 40 in Seaside, you've got 30 in Sand. You could collect some in Wooded while you're traversing collecting nuts, as well as in Metro. There's also a 30 coins in Metro there as well. So potentially some regional coin synergy there.
Exactly. But yeah, so far, we've seen Aggie basically just rush through the 2 early kingdoms, Cap being a pretty much guaranteed one. We might see some of them go back later on for this Captain Toad revisit goal, and then potentially you can get like some sub-rooms there if you already are revisiting, which are like not too slow, not the fastest as well, since they are shard moons. But yeah, just the option is there.
Yeah, that being an option. Kind of have to go out of your way for that, in my opinion, but it is definitely viable. We do see LilAggy has marked off moon shards in the sand, which is kind of one that we've looked over more or less here. Still doesn't really reveal anything about what he could be doing. Again, Seaside finish is a very viable option still.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aggie is actually doing the shards here, which is a goal on its own. Moon shards in the sand being a goal right there. And yeah, so looking at this right now, looking at this goal specifically, basically guarantees the Seaside finish for Aggie already.
Yes, because it's got to be either in the row or the column. So definitely looking like that is the case.
Aggie being confident here, completely knowing where these invisible, basically, blocks, I'd say, are. Usually the game wants you to capture a Moai and kind of scout where they are. And once again, Dray actually started around 2 minutes later. So this will potentially just be a race. Or if Aggie finishes, maybe Dray can catch up. Obviously, the final time will be the one that counts here. So don't get confused by that. Would probably not be the best idea to just pause Aggie's timer here for like 2 minutes. We can still have a different kind of race. Like if Aggie finishes, Dray still has 2 minutes to basically finish on its own, on his own. But right now, Aggie getting sub-room moons, which is obviously a goal on this board, and with this being like these 2 Insanity being one of the quickest sub-rooms. This one and the Bullet Bill Maze.
Yeah, we do see that 14 moons from sub-areas goal on the board. Potentially just knocking out a couple of quick sub-areas before Metro. There is another sub-area goal on the board, specifically revolving around Metro, so maybe just getting some of the fastest ones along the way there.
So Dray is actually getting this 2D moon here, which I'm trying to find a 2D goal on this board, because usually this wouldn't be necessarily the fastest moon. So I'm not completely sure. Is he actually going to be going for the story moon here? Very interesting.
Yes. So
I mean, it makes sense if he goes for the shards as well.
Exactly, yeah, and that's kind of what I'm seeing there. The only way that you can activate the moon shards being collectible in the Moai area is if you collect that story moon first. So just making his way up the tower, and I suppose if you need to do that, then you might as well grab that 2D moon along the way.
Wait, did you already do shards? Now that I'm thinking back, because you already marked that.
I think maybe it's just because he's behind, but he does have it marked. So we will probably see him take a visit to the Moai area now.
Okay. So maybe his stream is just here. Okay, this is weird. I mean, we'll just see. This is how things go. Maybe the board is just a little bit out of sync, and maybe he will kind of spoil us on what he's actually going to be doing. He also captured that Moai there. I'm not completely sure if that was intentional. Do you see a capture goal on this board? I don't think so, right?
Yeah, no capture boards or capture goals on this board by the looks of it, but maybe just an accident while he was grabbing the checkpoint.
Yeah, probably. And yeah, Aggie doing quite a bit of things, I guess, like on its own. No, that's actually Dray. I'm confused. So much things happening, and Dray now even being a little bit like desync, but he ended up doing the Ice Cave Treasure Moon here, which is pretty solid goal. It's probably around like a 30-second moon that you can get, and that's pretty quick for a goal if you can make it work in your route.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely
Already on his way out of sand, in fact, so grabbing those regional coins. And I think he was in the shop there to buy a sticker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, definitely visited the shop earlier, and it does make sense if he's going to be going for row 3, which at this point he definitely has to. I mean, he doesn't have to technically, but it just makes sense. Like 20 regionals in Lake is like nothing. They will both obviously, I mean not obviously, but probably going to be going to Seaside in this one, and yeah, the revisit in Cascade will probably happen, and I'm assuming that both of them will be doing column 5 as well, because once again we have a lot of quick regional coins that you can get on your way, and then once again Deepwoods ties in so nicely with the 3 shiny rocks, and obviously also 7 treasure chests, because there's a treasure chest in Deepwoods and you can get some other treasure chests as well. Aggie already revisiting Cascade right now to get this treasure chest and probably also the shiny rock.
Yes, that's right. Maybe just knocking off a couple of quick things while he's here, but not a whole lot that needs to be done in Cascade necessarily.
Yeah, no, exactly. That seems pretty solid. However, still not completely sure on Aggie's full route. Like, he's definitely going to be doing column 5 and row 5, it seems. We still are lacking one last one. And obviously, row 1 is technically possible with the regional synergies, but the difference between the golds he has on the board and 225 is still a lot. It might not be super worth. Not sure.
Yeah, it'll be hard to tell at this particular moment. We do see Dre has marked off Ice Cave Treasure. That is the one that he's going for as of this moment, so kind of interesting. Might be going for the column 3 idea there.
So Dre just now visiting Ice Cave. I'm not completely sure. Probably some desyncing issues with his board there on our end. Let's not get distracted by that as he grabs that moon just now. Maybe he already just marked the rolls like previously, but that's fine. Still not being completely sure about all of the rows and columns that he's going to be going for, but this will basically reveal to us as this bingo is happening. But let's go over the options once again. So if we think that Dangerous, this is you. If we think that LilAggy will be doing column 5 and row 5, what would be his best option? Would it be... So it would probably either be row 1 or once again bottom left to top right, right?
I'm thinking something like that. We do see Captain Toad and Cap. I think that maybe if he was going to be doing a Cap revisit, he might have already taken care of that as he was going back to Cascade. Hard to say, but...
Board spoiling us once again, probably actually going into the painting here.
Yes.
So it looks like a row 1.
I think that Dre is the red, so yeah, potentially row 1 there. Yeah, lots of regional coins, like we said, on this board, so it would make sense to go for some row 1 ideas. We're already going to be spending some time in Wooded with the shiny rocks there and the Deep Woods visit, so not a terrible idea to go out of your way to collect the nuts in Wooded as well. It kind of takes care of everything you need to do in Wooded, I suppose, at that point, because you just you go into the Deep Woods for 3, you get the 10 nut moons around the kingdom, and then maybe just 3 from Spewart or something like that as well to leave Wooded.
Yeah, and it looks like Aggie's actually getting done with quite a few golds here pretty quickly. We will obviously see a Seaside visit from him, so things will potentially slow down at some point. But right now he is doing nice work here. And he's actually getting this Shards Moon, which I'm thinking is... No, maybe... Okay, he just used that bubble to get back on top. Makes sense. I was like, wait, why would he get these shards? But just using that to get back up.
Yeah, just a shard in the way, not actually planning to use it for anything. Is getting this Notes Moon. Not sure if that is actually required for anything. Doesn't really appear so. Might just be going for some purple coins. Yes.
Yep, looks like it. And I think if he's going to be going for basically the circle around the board using the row 1, column 5, and... wait, okay, maybe he's actually not doing that, huh?
It's kind of hard to tell. Like, Dray is marking off.
I got super confused because I thought like Dray marked the war painting from Lake Moon, and at that point Aggie was in Lake, so I thought Aggie was gonna go for it and kind of got distracted, but he actually ended up not doing that.
Yes, that's right. Instead, just marking off the 20 regional coins in Lake. It looks like Dray is marking off both, so we might actually see from Dray the column 3 and row 3 crossing, as well as potentially row 5? Or no, Dray, I suppose. Dray could be going for either row 1 or column 1 as well.
Yeah, sorry, that was my mistake there. I just got confused by the board being desynced. I basically saw someone marking the war painting moon, and Aggie was in Lake, so I thought that was Aggie actually was the one that went for that. And I kind of mixed up Aggie and Dray there, so I'm not actually completely sure yet what the final like routes will be. Aggie kind of doing task 6, but not ending up doing the entire task 6, not grabbing any checkpoints, instead going to the shop and probably getting a moon here, which makes sense if he's maybe going to be going for the 20 moons, because that's a lot. And when you already go in here to get like a sticker, you might as well just get a moon. It's not that slow anymore.
Yeah, if you have to kind of go out of your way for it, you might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we see him warping back to the Odyssey, and he's on his way out. So that is all he needs from Lake Kingdom, which is very interesting. So we could potentially be seeing a very kind of lengthy Deep Woods visit, or not Deep Woods, but just wooded in general.
Wooded visit, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like a seaside exit is on the table for both of these runners here.
Yeah, probably at this point. And we did see Aggie getting some treasure chests along the way, which is something that he might be completing in the near future for sure. He did go to Cascade. Wait, I'm pretty sure Aggie went to Cascade. Oh, I mean, obviously he needs to get the 2 moons from Shiny Rocks in Wooded. In my mind, this goal is done when you get the Cascade one, but it's just the one you really need. Obviously, he still needs to get the ones from Wooded, which they are a little bit quicker than the revisit, I guess. But obviously he needs to grab these.
Yeah, they still need to happen. Going to grab this one right now. So we'll be making a Deep Woods visit. Of course, that synergizes well with the 3 Deep Moons Woods, or the 3 moons from Deep Woods here on the board.
Yeah, Deep Woods definitely working out quite nicely. 3 moons, one of them will be from the rock, so all you need to do is basically grab 2 additional ones, which in this case is probably going to be the tree and the one below the, I guess, rubble and rock thingies you can break with the T-Rex. At this point, it might also be worth to just get the other one as well, since that's pretty close to the actual exit that most people use, and you do need someone to leave the kingdom. But we'll see what they decide to do. We do have Dray in this subroom right here, which actually yields him a treasure chest moon, and once again, this is something we might see as a goal for them later.
Yeah, the lines are starting to come into view here, but still a little bit too early to tell just yet exactly what some of these final lines are going to be. Yeah, this is a really tricky board to route around because there are a lot of very kind of unsynchronizable goals that kind of get in the way of some of these things. So it's just kind of picking the worst of the evils, I think, and just routing around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do also see Dray going into the shop right here, potentially also grabbing himself a sticker in this kingdom. Looks like he's going to do that just now. And this basically, I mean, it doesn't confirm anything, but I mean, I guess row 3 was already confirmed, but row 3 is probably going to be happening for both of them no matter what, because Aggie did go back to Cascade already to get that shiny rock.
Yeah, basically confirming that that center square is on his mind. He's going to be looking to go through a Wooded Kingdom. To get to Spirit, you do require this Story Moon, and Spirit in himself kind of unlocks a lot of the rest of Wooded Kingdom. So in order to complete that 10 moons from nuts goal, or even that 9 moons from nuts, if that's on somebody's mind, then getting to Spew It is kind of a priority in the Wooded Kingdom.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah. No, okay, that's actually 1 too many rows. That would be like 4 rows. That's not what. Oh wait, am I miscounting? No, I think Dray might actually be doing column 1, 2, 1, 3, and row 3.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing there. In either column 1 or row 1. I'm not really sure if Dray's been going out of his way for treasure chest moons, but if he is getting the middle square...
He did get the sub room here in Lake, which makes sense if he needs the sub rooms anyways, but it's also a treasure chest. And then he could get 2 in Wooded. Probably only 1 though, because the outfit is not necessarily required here, since we do not really have any Wooded regional goals.
Yes, that's true. And we do see that 7 treasure chest moons. 7 is a little bit less than 9. There's a little bit more leniency when it comes to this. So you don't need to achieve the world peace in sand. You don't need to get into the outfit room in Wooded, for example. But you do have to be tight if you're choosing to opt out of those and still get the treasure chest goal here.
But yeah, so let's see Eggy going towards the nut on the dead end here. Another moon that is not necessarily required, but since he's going for some kind of an any % approach here, there's not really anything he seems to be doing here. That is out of his way. He obviously did. Wait, he's okay. He's just now entering the deep woods, probably getting some purpose, probably just enough for him to make a sticker purchase possible. He's probably going to be getting this nut, and then 3 moons in the deep woods would allow him to leave the kingdom, which is probably going to be his last action.
Yeah, that does seem rather reasonable. We might see him going for some of these nut moons on purpose. Potentially.
Yep. And Eggy dropping down, probably, as I said earlier, he's probably going to be getting the tree, the ground pound moon, and the rock, obviously. He definitely wants that. And we do see, kind of getting spoiled here again by the board desync, Dray decides to go for 4 additional moons here in Lake. 20 seems like a lot, but since he's already getting some synergies done with the treasure chest, which he might not be going for, but at least the sub rooms, it might end up working. I do think, it's probably, as you said, between row 1 and column 1 right now. And I do think column 1 would be just slightly better. Because treasure chests, he's getting another treasure chest right now, which might be him working towards a treasure chest goal. Or if you get 20 moons, this is obviously one of the faster moons, and he gets the jump very nicely, by the way. However, I feel like 225 regions is just a little bit too much. I'm not completely sure. You need some for stickers anyways. And maybe I'm shying away from that too much. But I feel like the goals in column 1 are just a little bit better. I'm not completely sure though.
I think I agree with you, especially if you're going to synergize it with something like 20 moons in Lake and you're going out of your way to do those sub areas. That's definitely not a bad decision at all. 8 moons from sub areas in Metro takes care of a lot of those sub areas already, so he only really needs 1 more sub area in order to complete that goal. So definitely looks like column 1 could be on the table. Obviously, regional coins, if you're already visiting Seaside, which both of these races have kind of signaled that is going to be the case. Kind of throwing in another Seaside regional coin goal is not a big deal. And then 30 regional coins is very minimal. In fact, there's a lot kind of right by the entrance to Main Street. In fact, just on the roofs, there's probably about half of them available to you right there. So the other half can be grabbed in City Hall on the way up to the Wiggler fight, for example. So very easy regional coin goal and something that we'll probably see.
Interesting. So Dray left with 19 moons here in Lake Kingdom, but he did look at the hint art, and he is obviously going to be making a backtrack to Cascade where he gets the shiny rock, so definitely smart decision. That's just a very quick Lake moon that he can basically get immediately.
Yeah, very smart. Kind of preemptive play. Obviously, the kind of thing that you only really think of if you are a bingo player, not, you know, really realizing that maybe that 19th moon is a cascade moon, but it actually does count for the Lake Kingdom instead. So very smart play. We see Aggie exiting the Deep Woods now. He has marked off his 3 moons from Deep Woods as well as his 3 shiny rocks. And he is just finishing up some of the nut moons, and it looks like he's actually just marked that off as well. So he'll probably be on his way out of the Wooded Kingdom now with that out of the way.
Yeah. He definitely did get quite a few nuts. I'm not sure if it's enough to get 10 yet, but now that you say it, he did get quite a few. He is probably about to leave, though. This is interesting. And he definitely didn't get 10. There's like, I don't think so. Nah, like 10 is just incredibly much. I think you need to go into the sub area, like into the Goomba sub area to do that.
I think you're right.
So probably not going for that. I'm interested why he did get this moon, though. Because he was already done, right? He already had 16 moons.
He had 16 moons, but perhaps didn't have enough moons from nuts to finish that goal. So,
oh, there's also a 9. Oh, there's a 9 moons from. Yeah, I completely blanked out on that one. I was only focusing on the 10 because there's obviously also a 10. But that would have probably been more beneficial for Dray to do something like that. But I'm not thinking that he's going to be going for that. I think Dray at this point once again is basically locked into column 3 and row 3, and then it's up to him to do either row 1 or column 1.
Yeah, and I think that you're right when you say that column 1 is the better choice here. And it does look like Aggie's plan of action is kind of coming into view as well. Looks like he is going for row 3 and column 5, and then it just revealed to us row 5 as well. So sub areas in Metro looking like a very big possibility here.
Yeah. And it's still pretty hard to tell who's ahead. Obviously, this can still go either way. We do obviously also need to keep in mind that Dray has quite a few goals on the board right now, and he's literally 2 minutes. He started basically 2 minutes later than LilAggy. We are not completely sure if that's actually the case, but at least the stream and timer that you are seeing right now on Dray's side is. I mean, the timer and the gameplay are in sync. He's basically 28 minutes, and what you are seeing on the screen is what happened as he was into the run for 28 minutes. However, we are not sure if that's like real time, if it's like completely synced with the timer. We did have some issues there, but still not really able to tell who's ahead here at all. Aggie has been playing solid so far, and I'm still a little bit in the dark as far as his route goes. He's basically doing row 3 no matter what, because he did get stickers and he has like 3 goals from there anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to tell still. But it is kind of coming into view here. A lot of these goals look like they're going to be kind of after we have arrived in Metro. We do see 25 regional coins on the board, so maybe Aggie, he is blue, so we might see him picking up 25 regional coins before leaving, but otherwise any percent jaunt through the Lost Kingdom is my assumption there.
Yeah, there's no real other reason to do so. I mean, I guess he could get a sticker here though, right?
Yes, that is a potential as well, especially if you're already going out of your way for purple coins.
Probably already missed. Wait, did he get the shop checkpoint or not? Because I was actually looking at Dray for a second. He didn't, right?
No, he's been doing the any percent route as of this moment here.
He doesn't need to get a sticker here since he's going up until Seaside. Like, he can skip some of these shops. But it would be an option because some purples here are super quick. And you only need 5 to get the sticker here.
Yes, this is a very quick Kingdom from purples. Now we see Aggie making an actual attempt to collect some purples here, so it does look like he is going to be going for that goal. Maybe just triggering Klepto to be safe before going on a little bit of a purple journey. Very smart decision. You know, you don't really know exactly where Klepto can trigger sometimes.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some scary points that if you're not familiar with it, you know, you can find yourself in trouble very quickly. So just getting Klepto out of the way as soon as possible and then continuing on with his purple coin journey here.
Oh yeah, he's also doing the 25 regional coins in Lost Gold. It seems like right now already Aggie's road is kind of like showing. He's probably going to be doing row 3, 5 and column 5.
Yes.
Which seems once again like a super solid combination of goals here. But yeah, I absolutely agree. I think actually you watched me at some point where I was doing like all purple coins and Klepto was triggering like in the weirdest places. But so I can definitely understand the decision.
Yeah, we've kind of come to the assumption that the trigger is actually in the air and it only kind of activates when you've hit the ground. So there are certain places where, like for example, if you miss this moon under the bridge that Aggy's just about to grab, if you haven't activated Klepto, you cannot come back up onto the bridge. Otherwise, Klepto will trigger, which means that the trigger for Klepto is actually underneath the bridge as well. It's in the air. It's just very scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fine. We kind of know how to deal with these things right now. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that with like Nycro's recent happenings, I guess events in the GDQ race, but we are understanding this game more and more. There's still a ton to find out, but getting a better idea, and Aggy definitely showing smart decision making there to just trigger Klepto immediately to not having to deal with any of these issues. And we do see Dray in the flooded pipeway sub area. He is probably working towards one of these sub area. I mean, in this case, only the 14 moons from sub area goal, and obviously moons in wooded anyways. 8 moons from sub areas in Metro allows them though to only get like the fastest sub rooms along the way. And I think Dray picked up the bullet, not the bullet maze, the Moai sub room earlier, which is one of the fastest. Flooded pipeway obviously being super quick. And then he can get like one other quick sub room, and the rest he will get in Metro anyways.
Yes, that's right. And he, I think, has already done the sub rooms in Lake as well. So true. What is necessary probably for his sub area goal, especially if you take into consideration that Metro is probably on the board for him as well.
It looks like Dray might just be doing some kind of an any percent route to basically finish up with the moons he needs.
Yeah, not a whole lot else going on in wooded for him, it looks like. He's just going to be looking to get out as fast as possible.
Yeah, Dray can potentially actually do a tower skip here if he knows how to do it. Because there's no real reason for him to do the tower if he's not going for row 1. Because no, he's actually not going for row 1 at this point. At this point, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be going for column 1. Because 10 moons from nuts is just a lot, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be doing that at this point.
Yeah, it is a lot, and especially if you're going to be going for this kind of any percent jaunt through. The OG any percent route, I think, collects 7 nut moons, so 3 on top of that, and he's already got a couple of extra moons on hand, so it doesn't really look like that is going to be the case here.
Yeah, the thing is, you either need like like the one close to that pipe that gets you close to Goombet, and then maybe the one in the Para-Goomba sub area, and these two, they don't really work with the route he's currently working towards. I'm assuming he's going to be doing tower skip here.
Yep. Good attempt, and he's up. Very well executed there. And I'm not sure. I have not really seen Dray buying anything at the shops. Any stickers?
He was in Lake at some point. Now that you say that, though, it is quite interesting. He did not do any trace work, obviously, so there's no possibility of him doing like a diagonal goal, yes, I guess.
It does kind of look like he has row 3 in his sights anyway, so
yeah.
Unless we're kind of seeing this board.
I saw him at the shop earlier for sure. He definitely got a sticker in Lake, I think, but not yet in Wooded. Like I think he bought a moon and a sticker in Lake, or at least a sticker. Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell because they are like in different positions at the game, obviously, and then also there's the desync issue, and then sometimes you might be confusing the one guy with the other guy. But yeah, I think actually what makes this so hard is if Aggy is on top and he's blue, but most of his goals are actually on the lower side of the board and the other way around. Like Dray is on the bottom, but all of his goals are on top of the board.
Bingo playing tricks on our eyes here a little bit today.
Exactly.
But yeah, kind of interesting that they have split the board more or less one way and the other. We'll just kind of have to see how this kind of pans out. I know that a lot of these goals are happening in Metro and in Seaside, so we're just basically waiting to get to that later part.
Both of them already being done with the revisit as well. I think actually Dray might not be done with it as of right now. He's probably going there, at least as far as the gameplay goes right now. His board looks to be Wait, was he already in Cascade? Did I like entirely blank out on that?
Dre did take a visit back to Cascade, I believe, for his
so much
shiny
things
run.
happening at the same time. Crazy. But yeah, if that's the case, they basically will just make their way up to Seaside now with some minor detouring for like different single goals. But other than that, this is also looking to be like a time in the 50s, I guess.
Yeah, for both runners, in fact. Could be very, very close, just depending on how well they execute these last 2 kingdoms, more or less.
Yeah, totally fine time. But we obviously, once again, I cannot really make the call who is ahead. I'm still also not completely sure. I mean, I am kind of sure at this point that Dray is not going to be doing row 1 because he definitely didn't get 10 nuts in Wooded. So he will be going for column 1 at this point. And the other 2 rows are basically visible for us as we speak. And we do basically know, like that's almost like a mirrored board, kind of like once they will have their goals fully marked, it's kind of like a mirror basically.
Yeah. Or
not sure if you know what I mean, but
yeah, definitely right down the middle, basically at column 3.
Exactly.
The route is going to be split there, so.
So Aggie is actually choosing this sub room here, which is interesting. There's quite a few sub rooms available to you. There's obviously the any % sub room. I'm not sure. I feel like the Dino sub room would be quicker than this one.
Yeah. But that being said, that there is 8 required, so
it is
potentially going for this one just because there are quite a lot of options to you. I feel like maybe the Moon Shards one is probably one of the slower ones.
Yeah, I feel like when I go 8, I would probably do the crowded sub area, the outfit clip, bullet building, and probably T-Rex over this one, but I'm not completely sure on the timings.
Yeah, an outfit room, of course. If you don't know how to do the clip, perhaps that is playing into your ability, your repertoire of which sub areas you would go for here.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't know how to clip, because there's actually a quite easy clip, which just basically requires you to do a roll into a warded specific spot on like a barrel, but you still obviously need to know how it works.
Yes, that's right. I always kind of wondered if those dumpsters counted as treasure chests, because they kind of act the same way. But I don't think that they do.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of specifics about these goals. But looks like Aggie's not going to be going for the outfit room. He's probably just going to be doing the T-Rex room and the bullet building, I guess. Yep. Wait, there must be like one other sub-room that I'm missing. There should be...
Yes.
Isn't there like 6?
There's also the one that you getting to from the rocket on the...
exactly. Yeah, exactly, the rocket one.
Yeah, the vaulting up a high rise or whatever, which is actually a pretty fast one, especially if you skip that later part. So potentially you could use that sub room in conjunction with another one to get some fast moons.
Aggie's not deciding to go for it though, because you can obviously make your way there from the crowded sub room.
Yes, that's right.
And doing this one instead, which is going to be helping him to go towards the regional coins, which is something I actually didn't think about, because there's 6 purples in this room.
Yeah, quite a bit, in fact.
And then there's also 3, I think, in the bullet building one. So probably another one that he wants to be getting.
Yeah, pretty smart routing there. Just kind of mopping up everything that he needs from Metro and making sure that he is kind of on track to finish up at 20 moons so that he can make his way over to Seaside directly afterwards. Probably going to be making a stop at the store as well to buy one more sticker, if I had to guess.
Yep. 5 stickers needed. I'm not entirely sure on the current sticker count. but definitely not too much. 5 stickers is very easy to get, especially with these smaller regional goals. You need 10% of the kingdom's purple total. So in the 100 purple kingdoms you need 10, and in the 50 you need 5. So very, very few, very and almost no work to do. And looks like Aggy's actually going to be rolling across here to get to the sub room. There's also 2 purples here. He missed one of them. Not the biggest deal. Interesting choice that he didn't do that after the crowded sub room.
And this room is kind of fast. The last moon is especially fast because you can just do a triple jump, which you're actually going to see Aggy do right here. The last one is kind of vaulting up the building, but he is marking off.
That?
It'll be interesting to see. Maybe he's going to go back, I think. Yeah.
Oh, there's even more purples there. I forgot. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, he only needed 30 from Metro, and he got that on the way to the rocket. So he's just going to be working his way up here, actually taking a death. So he'll have to start from the beginning, unfortunately.
I'm not even sure which way you would go. Is he just going to the right now, the casual way, or is he doing that jump again?
I think that honestly might be the safest way.
Okay, let's see. I feel like if you, and I definitely didn't do the sub from ever, the casual way, I guess. I mean, probably at some point. So I would be a bit scared about this one, but seems like Aggy is doing just fine for now. Just waiting a little bit to get up to this part, but then he's going to be getting the stone and probably warping out of here because the rocket is super slow.
Yeah, warping back to the Odyssey. He has the moons that he needs. He also has the regional coins that he needs, marking those off, and then heading back to the Odyssey.
He might, yeah, he's surely going to get a sub 50. However, we can obviously not forget that Dray's current gameplay is still 2 minutes behind. Looks like Dray is he will also need to be doing all of these sub rooms here. So, yeah, still a lot of work for him to do in Metro. So I guess Aggy is just, even with the 2 minutes on the timer here, he's just ahead right now.
Yeah, it appears so. Definitely Dray has a little bit of his work cut out for him. I think he left a little bit less for himself to do in Seaside. All he's going to have to do when he gets there is collect those 25 regional coins. He's already marked off his 5 stickers, which signals to me that after this fight, he will probably be buying a sticker immediately. He has the purple coins available to him for that, so we will probably see that right away.
Yep. Seems to be that way. And we have Aggy already in Seaside getting some purples. He does need to get 40, which seems like a lot, but this is actually a 100 purple kingdom. Usually I feel like 100, I at least thought that way, that those would only be the very large kingdoms like Luncheon, Wooded, and Sand, but Seaside also being considered a place where you can get 100 purple coins, and that actually goes to show, because this is not the biggest place in terms of pure space. So if you go underwater at any point with a cheap, you'll find purples all around you, basically stuffed in this kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. They're kind of in pockets, I find. Yeah. This area in particular is a very good place for purple coins. There's a couple of alcoves that have some purple coins hiding, and just around the shop, the beach house, I suppose you could call it. There's a bunch of purple coins kind of hanging around here.
Aggy kind of finding his way towards these as he is looking around. And I think there's 3 hanging up there, so he's probably getting his way. Usually supposed to be getting these with a Gushen, I think. Probably not the fastest ones he could get at this point, obviously, basically due to him not having the best of luck with these up throws. But yeah, he's going to be getting all of these in the alcoves here, and then probably a lot of them underwater. And then all he needs to do is get some quick treasure chest moons and talk to Captain Toad. I don't know how many treasure chests he needs, but definitely one of them being very quick and also using the any % route. And then he could technically, I think, do the... Wait, does the Sphinx have a treasure chest here? This Sphinx?
Inside, yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if he's at 5 or at 6. Probably one of the 2.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see which ones he goes for. I think that in hindsight, there probably could have been some synergy with the deep woods and treasure chests that maybe he missed out on a little bit there.
Yeah, he just picked up the 3 moons.
Yeah, he picked up the 3 fastest moons in deep woods and kind of got out, including the shiny rock, when he definitely could have maybe put on the explorer outfit and went about his way on into the Deep Woods for some easy treasure chest moons in there, completing 3 Deep Woods moons as well as the shiny rocks and his treasure chests. But you know, hindsight is 20/20, of course. He's going to be making his way up to Captain Toad here by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Grabbing this extra moon, I think maybe just from muscle memory and maybe to refill Gush and water before he keeps going.
So interesting, Dray also opting for this shards room, and once again I'm not completely sold on this room, but I also don't know the exact timings. It just feels pretty tedious to get all of these. Actually, what I can't blame them, because Aggie actually skipped out on bullet building, which is probably the fastest sub room, actually, other than the crowded. I don't actually know how this room is called. Like, do you know the official name of the?
Yeah, something
like pushing
about
through the crowd, I think, right? Is that the
more
name?
or less? That's basically the title that we're looking for there, I think.
But yeah, that's obviously the fastest one. But I think second to that, it has to be bullet building. However, it's one of the most weird sub rooms in the game. The way it works, like the poles they are not coded correctly, and it is very easy to take a death. So even though it's super fast, I can't really blame them to not use that sub room.
Yeah, it is notoriously difficult to traverse. I find that the poles in that particular sub area have some interesting hitboxes that don't allow you to grab them very easily. So
yeah, it looks like Dray is actually about to finish. He only needs, I think, 1 more purple coin. I'm not sure if he already is done with the treasure chests. He already marked it on the board, and he's also gonna need to buy another sticker.
what you see him do right here. And he's marking off the treasure chest. I think maybe he just needs to visit this one treasure chest. Oh, he's going to grab a cheap here and probably grab the treasure chest inside the glass palace.
Yeah, there's also purples on his way. He only needs 1 single purple. And I think once he gets this treasure chest, he's going to be done.
Just like that.
And ending just with a slightly above 50 minutes time with a 50-27. That gives Dray basically 2 minutes to end off on his own, which seems to be impossible because he does need to do some stuff here in Seaside, being Captain Toad, and also 25 regionals, which is a bit less, but 2 minutes just seems to be too tight to be able to do.
Yeah, it is looking very tight. He's still got 6 moons, well, 5 moons now to collect in Metro before he leaves. So it's really going to come down to just tight execution, but I think it's a little bit too little too late.
Yeah, it seems tough for him to pull this off. He did just end up getting the outfit clip sub room. He's done with that. Also going to be pushing through the crowd right now. And he's about to be done with Metro. But yeah, probably looking at around a 55-minute finish, I'd say. Maybe 53 even if he manages to pull that off. Probably, actually. Yeah.
Just got to nab some quick moons in Metro before he leaves. And unlike Aggie, not leaving quite as much in Seaside to do by the looks of it, just Captain Toad, as well as some regional coins, but just a small regional goal, which can be accomplished rather easily.
Yep, 25. Pretty much able to do that just by going to the right side where Aggie went initially, which he might not even be doing because he does need to get Captain Toad in Seaside, I think, which he already marked on his board, which yeah, delay might be quite heavy on his end, but that's totally fine. But if he's going to this side, there's also a bunch of purples. Probably that's around to 25 already. So you can just get these purples, get the Captain Toad, and it's probably going to be done.
Yeah, it should be a quick jaunt. There's also a lot of purple coins in the back cavern area of Seaside as well. So if he's already grabbing Captain Toad, it might be worth his while to just go that direction, collect some of those, as well as some quick ones underwater near what the waves left behind in order to finish up there.
Yeah, and we are looking at kind of a fork board here. As once both of them are done, we kind of have a little fork going on there. As far as this picture on the board goes, I guess there could be potentially an even better fork if you just had column 1, column 3, column 5, and row 5 for both of them. but still kind of you get the idea.
Yeah.
And it seems like as far as the board goes, which it just seems to be that Dray suffered from some very heavy stream delay there on his end, but looks to me that he was probably finishing around like 3 minutes after Aggie here. So the 53 or like low 54 is probably something that I can expect, which is still solid. This board obviously had both of them go to Seaside here, and if we go back and look over these goals here, that was pretty much required in like any way. There wasn't really any other possibility. There wasn't even a snow goal at all. And all of these other columns and rows, it didn't really make much sense to do.
Yeah, you probably could have done something to avoid going to Seaside, but it would have definitely not been a very optimal way to go about it. You know, like you're looking at goals like 6 multi-moons and 18 moons in Lost. Like if you're really making the effort to not go to Seaside, you're going to be spending a lot of extra unnecessary time doing goals that don't mix well. And I think that's kind of what they noticed here. Definitely some good synergy within Seaside and not having to spend an entirely huge amount of time on the rest of the kingdoms. I suppose synergy working out rather nicely.
Yeah, exactly. And looks like Dray is just going to be going over, getting a moon there. I'm not sure if that was actually intentional because he definitely didn't need it. He's just going to get it to Captain Toad here.
Yeah, no need for any extra moons here. We see him grab Captain Toad. And then, yeah, just a quick jaunt around Seaside, most likely.
Some purples.
To get some purples, yeah. You see him grabbing these ones. There are a couple in the back cavern entrance that we'll probably see him go for as well.
Being stay in the Gushen for a little bit, grab that checkpoint here to refill.
Yeah, very interesting kind of mechanic with Gushens is that their water can be refilled with checkpoints or power moons. You can basically keep them with you on large journeys just by knowing what refreshes them.
Yeah, and only 10 more purple coins to go, as these will probably be some quick purple coins underwater. There's once again 3 here in a little pocket, and then even more on the open field, which they're going to be the last ones. And then Dray is probably, as expected, about to finish with a low 54, which is around 4 minutes behind Aggie here. And I think this is mostly due to the differences, obviously. I feel like these whatchamacallit, the 20 moons in Lake obviously being one of the slower ones that were available to him. And then also he did end up going to the war painting, which probably is not one of the slowest goals, but that's like another difference. But other than that, being pretty similar as far as these routes go.
Yeah, I would agree. There were a couple options here for sure. I actually was expecting the regional coins to play a little bit more of a prominent role. That 225 looked pretty juicy with how many other regional coin goals there were on the board, but actually nobody opting to go for that. Just a couple of very nasty goals on this board that these players both really tried to avoid, especially 18 moons in Lost and 6 multi-moons. So very interesting perspectives on this route. Aggie apparently picking the better of the two.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And this means Aggie is gonna be advancing to the semifinals, and I'm not 100% sure who is gonna be his opponent. I think it is yet to be decided, because we do have another race between Oddme and Zinpas tomorrow, which is obviously going to be another very exciting, very close one. I'm pretty sure one of the two is going to be Aggie's opponent. Yeah, because the one semifinal will be Neo versus Bryguy, and the other one will be Aggie versus whoever wins tomorrow between Oddme and Zinpas, which is going to be a pretty hype matchup.
I think so too, yeah. We are definitely getting into the thick of this tournament. Lots of very substantial bingo players remaining in this tournament, so really anybody's game to take home at this point. Things are just heating up now.
All right.
It looks like we're just setting up an interview potentially for these runners. We'll see if we can get them in for some comments. And Aggie actually just joining the call right now, the victor of this particular matchup. Aggie, how did you feel that run went?
Time-wise, I think it's the best I've ever got. Quality-wise, though, I felt that was really, really sloppy on my end. I wasn't super happy with the kingdom routing I did for Wooded and Seaside, especially.
Wow. Okay. I actually thought that was pretty solid overall. Yeah, the one thing that I noticed, and we were kind of curious about if you just wanted to play the save, was the one in Lost, because you didn't actually press like the button to go up to the shop. Like, wait, did you actually get the sticker in Lost? I can't remember. Maybe you didn't.
No, that's the
Oh, you
kingdom I
didn't.
skipped.
Okay. You didn't, okay, but you still got the 25 regionals, obviously, so it did make sense at the end. But you basically activated Klepto before getting these purples in the little pockets on the side, which we said we can't really blame you, because sometimes Klepto would still trigger just if you touch the trigger like in the air. So having to basically take a little bit of backtracking on this end, but probably just playing it safe. Not sure what caused you to that.
Yeah, I actually forgot that I needed Lost coins until I was near Klepto anyway, but then I figured it worked out well enough because there was that checkpoint right there if I needed it, and there's a bunch of purples right in that area.
Yeah,
25 is not usually any issue to get real quick.
Yeah, working out pretty quick. What else did you say you were not like totally happy about?
So with Wooded, I spaced my nuts goal as well, and I had to backtrack for 2. I skipped the one by the piranha plant because I was just thinking, I was just trying to any percent and then get some extra moons in deep woods to replace the slower ones in any percent. But I realized I needed that, so as soon as I got to the top of the tower, I went back for that one. And then I also needed to go back and get a 9th right by the
tree
tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that we also brought up that you could have potentially maybe have done like the one treasure chest in the deep woods instead of like going out of your way to do that in Seaside, but that might have been like a close call because you obviously needed to get 40 regionals anyways, so maybe not being entirely worth, but yeah, it's kind of close between some of these.
Yeah, I got the one treasure chest in Seaside or in Deep Woods with the pipe sub area, and the other one would have been the outfit room.
Okay.
Which
yeah, the outfit room is the one I was thinking. Potentially, if you were collecting regional coins already, but there is no goal on Wooded regional coins specifically, just that you had to buy stickers. So maybe not entirely the best idea, but there are lots of available purple coins. Potentially with the deep woods synergy there.
Yeah, I guess the outfit treasure chest is like a semi-fast one overall. If you do buy the sticker there, it might be like semi-worth it, but ended up working fine for you. Just barely missing the sub 50, but obviously still going to be advancing into the semi-finals versus, I mean, we don't know yet. It's either going to be Zin Pass or Oddme, so both of them pretty solid runners with a lot of game knowledge, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone that you would prefer?
I'll take Zimpars just because he's a bit of a bingo legend, so I might as well go up against the bingo guy.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can see that being a hyphy matchup. Obviously, both of them having the potential to crush you. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, both of them having the potential to deliver a very close matchup. But yeah, Dray just joined the call. And yeah, we had some interesting issues there with stream delay, obviously. But I felt like you still picked a pretty solid route and probably just ended up slightly below the time of Agile. But maybe you can explain what you were most unsatisfied with and maybe a little bit of your process when it comes to you routing the sport.
So I hated my route, first of all.
Me too.
The 20 in Lake, super long and unnecessary. I think that was the biggest time sink for me.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of having, like, I was thinking potentially you have some synergy with the treasure chests at this point, But I wasn't completely sure about your route. Like obviously you did get the subroom treasure chest and the lake, like the lake jump, but then the rest of the board maybe not working too well, especially because you would have wait, you actually already did the moonshots in sand. Maybe column 5 would be something you could have kind of like implemented with that. But I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, it's
no,
a tough
yeah.
map.
As soon as I saw Aggie mark off, which goal was it? Probably 3 moons in Deep Woods. I knew that I'd chosen a really bad route, and I should have gone with column 5 rather than column 3.
Yeah, this board in particular was very tricky to route because there were a lot of like almost like you're playing Minesweeper, you know? You don't really want to hit the really nasty goals on the board here. 225 regional coins is really rough. 6 multi-moons is really rough. 20 moons in Lake is also really rough. 18 moons in Lost, that's really rough. So it was kind of just like working around what was really not good on this board, and there wasn't a whole lot left available after kind of taking all those into consideration. So that being said, I think, you know, if you picked one of those kind of landmine targets, then that was probably going to be what kind of cost the race. And I think that is perhaps why we saw this outcome today.
Potentially.
But yeah, aside from that, very well fought race. Despite the technical issues, you know, these things are bound to happen when restreaming is considered. So very well fought between both runners. GG's to both of you.
For sure.
Thank you.
And once again, you do not want to miss the battle between the potential opponents for Aggie when it comes to the Triple Bingo Tournament semifinals, which we will probably be seeing very soon as well. But tomorrow in the evening hours, at least for the European time zone, and I think we are looking at 3 p.m. EST, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure. We will have Oddme versus Zinpals, which will be another pretty tense match, and obviously task results coming in tomorrow as well on this channel, so make sure to drop a follow, make sure to follow these runners, as they did obviously deserve some love for this amazing race showcase. And other than that, I think this is it for us for the day. Make sure to follow the channels, make sure to stay tuned, and see you guys on the next events.
Yeah, coming up next, we have the Speedrun channel. We're going to be hosting them immediately. We are actually hosting with GSA a Double Dash Mario Kart tournament, it looks like. So stay tuned for some of that. And from Super Mario Odyssey, we will see you guys later.